Hey, what's up everyone, it's Brightness and Contrast. A few months back I made a video about the SCP Tabletop RPG. It was nothing in depth per se, but I really wanted to make a few more videos actually to really get the word out there. One of the things I really want to have another look at is the drama cards. The drama cards are actually an accessory you can buy for the SCP Tabletop RPG on DriveThruRPG.com, and it introduces something to the game that I really haven't seen in any other tabletop RPG. These cards are actually, just as a disclaimer, not as they are probably when you would buy them on DriveThruRPG.com. The packaging and the cards is actually made by a friend of mine who works in the printing business. So let's get into it. When you're gonna play a game, you're just gonna put this deck on the table, and whenever a player does something remarkable or something really beneficial to the group, or if the player just does a fun job role-playing their character, the DM or GM, it's called a director in this game, the director is able to reward the player with a card from this deck. Or they can actually reward the player with a point, because there's a point system in this game, and if you have enough points, the players can actually buy themselves a card from this deck as well. So what's really fun about it is, let me just show you, I'll just draw a card from it right now. So this card is called Rabbit's Foot. Think of a non-unique item that would be perfect for your current situation. You happen to look down and see one on the floor next to your foot. So, as the card already implies, players can actually keep these cards with them and use the card whenever they see fit while playing the game. It can be during combat, it can also just be during a mission briefing. And what I really like about that system is that players can use these cards to basically throw a curveball at the director. And the director has to respond to it. So the story becomes more of a back and forth between the players and the director. Of course, still the director is in charge and still has to make sure that the story is satisfying and that it's going somewhere. But these cards do allow for the players to inject their own little fun twists to the story. So yeah, let's have another look at another card. This one's actually called Enough. Everyone stops whatever they're doing to listen to what you have to say. Combat ends immediately if applicable. So some of these cards are just crazy in the sense that suddenly the director, or DM if you will, has to respond to whatever the player is gonna play. Now, not all cards are applicable to any situation. There's also one that can only be used in combat. There's also one that only affects the weather, so you can actually change the weather of the scene to whatever you want. So maybe it's a rainy day, boom, suddenly the clouds pull apart and the sun is shining. So yeah, I really like that. It's just a fun way for some back and forth action between the director and the players. So that's just what this video is all about. Also a little announcement. I am actually planning on doing a video series in the near future. There's a new edition of the SCP Tabletop RPG book that I expect to arrive within now and a month or so. And when it arrives, I'm actually planning on doing an in-depth look at each chapter in the book, as opposed to the more global view and overview video I made a few months back. I'm actually planning on just taking each chapter and making a unique video for each chapter, and really delve into the system that's offered by the SCP Tabletop RPG. There was also a Kickstarter not too long ago which redesigns the book a little bit and also introduced a monster manual, if you will, where a bunch of SCPs are listed in with unique stats and powers and stuff like that to inject into your story. Really excited for that one, and I'm gonna do a video on that as well when I receive it in the mail. So thank you again for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and till the next video.